Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Cider and I'm a naturopathic physician at the National University of Natural Medicine in Portland, Oregon. Today I'm going to teach you guys about a couple of my favorite homemade immune tonics, fire cider and fermented garlic honey. Both of these are easy at-home recipes that will last you throughout the entire winter season. So let's get started. We're going to be starting off with making the fire cider. This zesty infused vinegar has been a favorite amongst the herbalist community since herbalist Rosemary Gladstar created the recipe in the late 1970s. It's packed full of immune-boosting ingredients that can help knock down just about any cold or flu. Now I'm going to be using a 24-ounce jar for this recipe, but you can go bigger or smaller. You'll just have to adjust the amount of ingredients that you use. This recipe can be really versatile, but the key ingredients include ginger, garlic, horseradish, onion, and then of course some apple cider vinegar. Beyond these ingredients, you can add any other ingredients you'd like just to play around with different flavor combinations. Today, in addition to those main ingredients, I'm going to be adding in some lemon, some cinnamon, one single pepper, some freshly ground black pepper, and some sprigs of rosemary and thyme. Each ingredient in this recipe has its own unique health benefits, making this the ultimate immune tonic. So to start off, I'm going to roughly chop one lemon. Lemons are high in vitamin C, which is essential for your immune system. It also adds a nice bright flavor to the recipe. Now, lemon's not typically added to this recipe, but I think it adds a nice little extra boost. If your lemon is organic, you can go ahead and leave the peel on. If your lemon isn't organic, I would go ahead and peel that lemon. Once you've got your lemon roughly chopped, you can go ahead and just add that to your jar. Next, we will be adding in the horseradish. Start by peeling the skin with a vegetable peeler. To process it, you can either use a grater, or for quicker efficiency, you can try using a food processor. If you don't have either of those in your kitchen, you can just do a rough chop and that would be fine. I like to get my horseradish to about a nice thin consistency, some nice thin chops. And I'm going to use about an 1/8 to 1/4 cup. It's a very pungent flavor, so you don't need a whole lot. Horseradish is really great for combating sinus congestion. It's one of the best herbs out there for clearing the sinus passages. Just one bite and it'll clear you right up. Even just smelling it now is kind of doing the trick for me. It's also really great for digestion, and it can help you break a fever by stimulating sweating. Like I said, if you like a little bit more of a big bite, you're welcome to add more, but I'm going to go with about an 1/8 of a cup, and then you can go ahead and add that to your jar. Now we'll add in the ginger root. You're going to want to peel your ginger root. You can use that same vegetable peeler that you were using to peel the horseradish, or I like to use a spoon and use the edge of the spoon to help peel the ginger. It helps you get kind of in between the cracks a little bit better. Now, ginger is one of my favorite herbs in fire cider. It's a nice warming herb. And most of us know it's really great for nausea. It's also great for circulation and digestion. But one of the main reasons we're adding it to this mix is its ability to fight off infection due to its high antimicrobial effects. So once your ginger is peeled, you can go ahead and process it just like you did the horseradish. So either in a blender, mixer, or grater, or you can just go ahead and fine chop that. I'm going to be adding in about a 1/2 cup to my mixture, and that consistency is going to be similar to the horseradish, a nice fine chop. Next, we can add some fresh turmeric root. Now, this isn't traditionally added to fire cider, but I love to add it wherever I can. I love turmeric. No need to peel the turmeric. You can just go ahead and wash it and scrub it so it's nice and clean on the outside, and then you can process it just like you did the ginger and the horseradish. Adding in fresh turmeric adds a ton of health benefits to this mixture. It's really high in antioxidants, and it's also known for its anti-inflammatory, antiviral, and antifungal properties. Now be careful when handling this root. Its vibrant orange color tends to stain everything it touches, so make sure you're not wearing your favorite white blouse when cooking with it, and that you wash all of your equipment right after use, otherwise it'll stain a nice bright yellow color. And when you're ready, you can go ahead and add that to your jar. Garlic is the next ingredient we're going to be adding. This is one of the main stars of this concoction. And I'm going to be adding in about 2 whole heads of garlic. And this process can be a bit time consuming, as you're going to have to peel all of the garlic cloves. So to peel the garlic, I like to go old school and just use the side of my knife and the butt of my hand to give it a nice little smash. That will help kind of loosen the skins from the garlic cloves. Another option is you can put the garlic cloves in a glass jar and give it a shake, and that should help loosen the skins as well. Once your garlic's all peeled, you can give it a nice rough chop. No need to chop it finely like you would for a meal, but a rough chop would be fine. Garlic is one of the best herbs for our immune system. It's antimicrobial, antibacterial, anti-inflammatory, immune stimulating, and to top it off, it's also an expectorant, which means it helps us expel mucus. Similar to ginger and horseradish, it's also a nice warming herb, which can help us get over a fever faster. So next I'm going to add half a red onion. I like to do the onion at the end because I always get onion tears, and so I like to reduce my onion exposure as much as possible. So go ahead and peel your red onion. You can use any kind of onion that you have in the kitchen, but I like to use the red ones because they're a little bit sweeter. And I'm just going to use half the onion based off the size of my jar, but you can use a whole onion if you have a larger jar. Now again, the red onion can just be roughly chopped, no need to get precise on this. Onion is in the same family as garlic, so a lot of their health benefits are very similar. Together, their immune boosting properties can be incredibly powerful against colds and flus. And when you're done with chopping the onion, you can go ahead and pop that in your jar with the rest of your ingredients. So to add a little bit of extra heat, I'm going to add 1 dried chili pepper. You can add a fresh jalapeno or some fresh cayenne peppers, depending on how spicy you like it. I can't handle the heat, so I'm going to start off with a little bit more of a light spice. And remember, you can always make it spicier later. I'm also going to add in a tablespoon of freshly ground black pepper. This is really great, especially when you're adding in the turmeric. It'll help you absorb the active ingredients from the turmeric better. And then I'm going to add a cinnamon stick. Cinnamon sticks not only taste great, but they're also good for inflammation, and it's another nice warming herb. And then to finish off, I'm going to add 1 sprig of rosemary and a couple of small sprigs of fresh thyme. Both of these are great respiratory herbs, plus they give the mixture a nice flavor. Now once you've added everything into the jar, the last thing you're going to do is add in the apple cider vinegar. Now this is the most important part. The vinegar is what's going to soak in all the different flavors and health benefits from the different ingredients, and it's also going to simultaneously keep them preserved and prevent them from getting moldy. Apple cider vinegar has its own health benefits, primarily its ability to support digestion. You're going to want to make sure that you cover all of the herbs. You want to cover by at least a few inches if possible, if there's space in your jar for that. My jar is getting a little close, so we'll do what we can. Once all of your ingredients are covered by the apple cider vinegar, you're going to want to cover the lid of the jar with some parchment paper or wax paper. This will help prevent any interactions between the vinegar and the metal lid of the jar. Go ahead and screw the jar on tight. And you can go ahead and give it a little shake to make sure that it's all nice and infused in there. You can store your mixture in a warm, dry place for 3 weeks, being sure to shake your jar daily. Your cider will pack up plenty of punch at this point, but you're welcome to infuse longer if you'd like. When your infusion is ready, strain the herbs from the liquid and add the remaining liquid to a new clean jar and discard the herbs or add them to your compost. Once the fire cider is ready, you can add honey to the mixture to taste. Honey makes the fire cider taste a little bit better, but it also adds its own health benefits to the mixture. I usually add about a 1/4 cup of honey, but you can add more or less depending on your taste buds. For first timers, I recommend diluting the tonic in a little bit of warm water, as it takes a little bit of time to adjust to the flavors. Once you get a taste for it, you can go ahead and drink it straight. I recommend a daily 1 ounce shot for prevention of colds and flus. But if you start to feel a cold or a flu coming on, you can take a 1 ounce shot 3 to 4 times a day, and you'll start to beat that cold or flu in no time. The fire cider does not need to be refrigerated, but it will extend the life of it, so I would recommend refrigerating it. And if stored correctly, your fire cider can last up to 2 years. And so that's all I have for you guys today on the fire cider, and next we're going to make some fermented garlic honey. Now the next immune tonic I want to show you is a little bit less labor intensive. It's called fermented garlic honey. All you're going to need for this recipe is about a head of garlic, a cup of raw honey, and a small quart glass jar. You can use any other size glass jar you like. You're going to be aiming to fill the jar about halfway full of garlic. So you're going to start by peeling the garlic using the same method we used for the cider. There's no need to chop the garlic for this recipe, but I do recommend giving it a nice little crush. Crushing the garlic can help activate allicin, which is the active ingredient in garlic and contributes to its antioxidant activity. Once all your garlic cloves are crushed, you can add them to your jar. Next, you're going to be pouring the honey over the garlic, making sure that the garlic is completely covered. If your honey is a little bit stiff at room temperature, you can either pop it in the microwave for a few seconds, or you can add it to a pot of low boiling water just to loosen it up and get it liquid again. Once all your honey's in there, give it a good stir, making sure that the garlic cloves are completely coated by the honey. Now using raw honey here is really important as it has all of the bacteria and the natural yeast that we need to make this mixture ferment. Honey's been used for centuries for its health properties. It's a great source of antioxidants. It's also rich in antibacterial and antiviral activities. It's also very soothing and is an excellent treatment for a sore throat. This in combination with the garlic really is an excellent, delicious concoction and super immune supporting. You can see here that my garlic is nice and covered and that it's all mixed together really well. So you're going to seal the jar and let it sit at room temperature in a dark place for at least 3 days. As the garlic ferments, bubbles will naturally build up in the jar. That's normal, that's what you want to see. At the 3-day mark, you're going to want to remove the lid and let some air out to get the gases out so it doesn't explode on you. This is called burping the jar. You'll then reseal the jar and let it sit, and you're going to want to invert it or give it a stir at least once every other day to make sure that the garlic stays completely coated with the honey. There are several ways to use the fermented garlic honey. Most people will take a spoonful of honey or just pop a whole garlic clove in their mouths as they feel a cold or flu coming on. It can also be incorporated into foods such as marinades, sauces, glazes for meats or veggies, really anything where honey and garlic would be appropriate. As always, honey should not be given to any children under the age of 1 due to the concern for botulism. While botulism is really unlikely in this fermentation process, it certainly can happen. If you're concerned about this, you can buy some test pH strips, and as long as your honey is less than 4.6 pH, botulism will not occur. If the pH does get too high, you can add a splash of apple cider vinegar and then retest. If your honey is stored in a cool, dark place, this can last up to a year, even longer if you keep your garlic completely covered. That's all I had for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed learning how to make some homemade immune tonics with me. If you want to learn more about naturopathic medicine and natural ways to boost your immunity, contact the National University of Natural Medicine today. Thanks, guys.